Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to our Wandavision review, episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. I'm here with my usual cohort, cousin Cheeto. We might be joined by Bossman a bit later on. We're in a bit of a rush on this one, well, cousin is, so let's get this show rolling, shall we? So I think we should start off with initially with it was Agatha all along, Bob.
I mean, come on. We knew that was gonna be it. Everyone. Agatha might be like an agent of Nightmare or an agent of more Mephisto or whatever, but we knew that this was where we were heading.
I totally agree. But don't get me wrong, even though a lot of people theorize this, and even at some periods with episode 3 and episode 6, where some people were wondering maybe if Agatha was not this person or this person, it might not have been Agatha Harkness, Agnes, but she didn't have an ID on that notice board, the only person not to, and which was one of the clues that she might actually genuinely be that person.
But
But
I
the,
always found it funny that they never questioned that she had an ID. You know what I mean? Like I always felt like Sword should have questioned why she didn't have an ID.
No, I agree, but like there's so many people. Maybe I don't know, but nevertheless, she is the. It looks like she is the antagonist. It was Agatha all along. Now, is to the main question to all of this is why. Why is she doing this, and what is the end game for Agatha Harkness? Is it because she only wants to be the only witch in the village? I have no idea.
I have a theory if you want me to put it
Please
out
go
there.
on, go for it.
I think it's because of the twins. I think that Hayward wants Vision, and I think you're right. I think he wants to make some kind of weapon, whether it be a Sentinel or whether it be he wants to bring Vision back online and work for the government or Thaddeus Ross. Maybe he wants to make Vision one of the Thunderbolts or something. I don't know, but I feel like Hayward's focus is Vision. Agatha's focus is Wanda via or is the twins via Wanda. So I feel like Agatha's trying to get because remember the twins were missing at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
So
I know, which was a bit spooky. So let's just start with the beginning of this episode, shall we? So Wanda wakes up, and she's alone, and she's doing monologues, explaining about the false reality and expanding it and stuff like that, and just playing it off as coy. And the kids are playing video games, and their game controllers are changing and all of that shit. I'll tell you what, if my fucking joypad changed into into Uno cards, I would lose my fucking shit. I don't know about you, mate.
I
No.
mean, I would. They went from like Nintendo DS controllers to like Atari controllers to
Oh
like Uno
god,
cards.
I'll be going nuts. And those kids will think, "What the fuck is this? This stick on a box." Anyway, we see Wanda. She's pouring some milk and stuff, and the milk cartons are changing. But also, and I feel, this is a bit weird here because there was focus but no focus because they wanted to just clearly see there's missing children on the back of that carton, but at the same time they kept the child blurred. They kept some of the information blurred, which was
I
interesting.
did notice it though. I did
Yeah.
notice them, and I was trying to see if that was like one of the twins or if that was I don't know.
So we get the intro to WandaVision. Did you recognize the intro at all?
No.
It was more like the Office intro a little bit.
Oh
Uh, um, and did you notice how Wanda's name was? It wasn't WandaVision. It was just Wanda. Mainly
yeah,
Wanda
most of it was Wanda until the very end.
until the Vision. So I assumed I personally assumed it implies his loneliness. After watching some bigger YouTubers review this, they also assumed the same thing. So I'm not sure if you assumed that.
Yeah, because it seems like there's a great divide between Vision and Wanda at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Vision's kind of off doing his own thing with Darcy in the circus right now, and you'll get into that, but
Now, this is the only moment we get to see Hayward in this whole episode. He is basically talking about launching something today. Launching something today. But we don't see what that is because it remains a mystery and we don't see Hayward then for the rest of the episode. He's done for today. So we're back in the bubble now. And the remaining S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who got caught in the hex, they've pretty much turned everything into a circus, which makes kind of sense. And Hayward's right hand man, like the guy who was like his bodyguard almost, he's turned into a strong man. and Darcy's turned into an escape artist. Some people were hoping that Darcy would reprise her role from her sitcom series, which I never even knew that she was in, but a lot of people talk about that. But did you find it pretty cool that, considering she was handcuffed in the previous episode, that she would transform into an escape artist?
Yeah, and I thought it was funny that she's like, I applied for the bearded lady, but I didn't have the right. And I'm like, really? I'm like,
well, Vision sees her, and he immediately recognizes her from the girl who wanted to save him, which is why he has that connection with her. But Darcy thinks,
please, they have the side character for a superhero connection, because Darcy has connections to Thor, so Vision latched onto that.
yeah, I mean, I would have thought she would have mentioned Thor's name to him, because she knows Thor, obviously.
Yeah.
You would have thought that, you know who Thor is, King of Asgard, he knows.
You lifted his hammer.
And Doctor, what's his face?
Selvig.
Yeah, like he would know him possibly too. Anyways, Vision takes her out of her trance, which is cool. And now Darcy's basically giving exposition to Vision about what's happened with his life.
which is quite dramatic, it looks like. I mean,
So we're back to Wanda now, and she basically tells her kids that Pietro is not your uncle. And it was kind of interesting, because I started to realize for myself, hold on, there's no Evan Peters in this fucking episode, what the hell? But Pietro is not your uncle. At least he hasn't just like disappeared from our minds. So yeah, not the episode, sorry, not the uncle. I apologize, I'm just losing my lines here. And then Agnes arrives, and she goes, hi, ho, there you were, and all that bollocks, and takes the kids and gives Wanda some me time. And after they go, all the shit in Wanda's house starts changing, changing different eras and stuff. The TVs, the curtains, the tables, the lampshades, everything. What do you think of all of that? What do you think that represented?
I just feel like she's losing control at this point. I mean, like, I think Agatha's kind of also pulling, like, I know they say Agatha's behind it all the time, but I feel like I think this is what Agatha wants. She wants Wanda to kind of break down and like lose control. And, the twins are kind of all over, they're there. And so I'm going to bring Bossman in. So
wonderful.
All right, Bossman, you're in.
Hey, Bossman.
Okay, have you started talking yet? Or...
You just caught us near the beginning. Actually, we just briefly spoke about obviously Wanda and the joy pads and the milk cartons, and we spoke about the trailer, and then we only saw one scene of Hayward mentioning a launch, and he never saw him again. And we also quickly mentioned that Darcy has met Vision, and she's no longer under the control, and Agnes is now just taking the kids away, and all the shit in Wanda's house is changing. We're up to there. Anything you want to say about any of that so far, Bossman, before we continue?
As I said, it's very Truman Show-esque that people are acting very much out of character, and there's something coming up later, well, in a minute, that is very, 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 very Truman Show-esque. And I said, I like that. And again, like, that's like, Darcy's like, I won't go on a date with you, don't go on a date with you, and then she finally goes, alright, I'll go on a date with you, but you're paying for love, so I love that.
Yeah, it's like Darcy's personality was coming out a little bit in the character she was portraying, which was interesting. So, a lot of people, guys, have been talking about this engineer, this aerospace engineer, because it was hardly mentioned at all in one particular episode, and briefly mentioned again to remind us in another episode. But everybody latched onto this theory that this is going to be Reed Richards, it's going to be this guy, that guy, Hank McCoy. I fucking went on it as well. We all went on it. But this engineer was just a regular nobody. Just some lady, that who was friends of Monica's mom and stuff like that. That was it. And I was fine with that. I don't know about you guys. I was totally fine with that.
I was okay with it. I mean, like, I was kind of thinking it's either going to be somebody, like somebody, a big reveal, or it's going to be just like somebody, just like we don't even know. I'll let you get into the theories on who that person actually might be, but because I think we talked about it a little bit ahead of time. But I mean, I was okay with it not being some. As I said, I mean, I don't want to get like shock fatigue where it's like, because we got the
Yeah, I
Pietro
agree.
reveal.
And we got the Agatha Harkness at the end of this
Yeah,
episode.
we got the Agatha Harkness in
So
this
we did it. We didn't
episode.
need something to in a way. If there was a massive reveal of like a Reed Richards level reveal, then that would have definitely put in a dampener on Agatha Harkness.
And as I said,
Yeah.
that's too big of a reveal for this.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if she turned,
especially with
go
the
ahead.
Agatha. Sorry, her name's a bit of a is giving me a bit of a tongue twist. But especially with Agatha's reveal, you couldn't have a Reed Richards reveal as well in the same episode. You know what I mean? So anyway, it's just a regular person. It's a sword agent as well. These are sword agents, and they give Monica a moon buggy to go inside. It's a genius idea, and
I thought it was more of a science buggy than it was a moon buggy because like they did like a load of like adaptations to it.
well, yeah. I mean, I'm just using layman terms. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So bloody hell, my notes are just all right.
All they needed was Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck on there, and it would have been.
Yeah.
But I've got to say that this shows made me love. I can't remember his name. The Scotland's thingy probation officer. I can't remember what his name is.
Jimmy
yeah,
Woo.
it's made me love him a lot more because he comes across like he genuinely cares about people.
Yeah, unfortunately, this episode wasn't a Jimmy Woo episode at all. I mean, he was hardly in this episode, which was a bit of a shame because everyone loves him. But I guess they have to share the wealth a little bit. At least Darcy got a bit more time for once. I
was about to say this felt more like a Darcy and
Yeah.
Vision episode, and obviously the Wanda and Monica got some time too. So I mean I feel like they shifted the focus, but I don't feel like it was unwarranted for this episode.
So sorry, where am I now? So we're back to Wanda and Darcy. They steal a truck, and they start heading towards Wanda, and we see where the hell am I in my bloody notes? And after that, we then see more of Wanda's reality changing, and then we go straight into a trailer, and that's for the Nexus pills. Now, I have to be honest with you, I was kind of thrown on this because I've heard the word Nexus so many times in various different types of science fiction that I don't even know what the fuck I'm watching sometimes. I can hear some feedback, by the way. So apparently these Nexus pills helps you with your depression because the world doesn't revolve around you. Or does it? What did you think of that trailer, and what did you make from it? I'll start with you, Bossman.
Is a Nexus a thing in the Marvel universe? Is it? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. It's because there's a group called Nextwave which uses Nexus as a superpower gating drug. So maybe they're advertising Nextwave.
Well, Nexus has been. Sorry, go on.
Wasn't it the super? I think the Nexus was the internet hub in Oslo from Age of Ultron.
I was about to bring up that. That's the only reference I know of.
I'm sure off the top of my head. As I said, I mean, I love Nextwave. So if it's Nextwave, sign me up. I love that.
Well,
but I thought it was great because there's a lot of like in jokes like for Wanda, like even though you're in charge of everything, even if you're out, and it's just like yes, like it's basically saying that Wanda's in charge of everything. But is it Wanda or is it Agnes he's talking about? Sorry.
Well, look, I want to quickly bring this up. A lot of people have been saying that these adverts, these commercials, have been a reference to the Infinity Stones. Like the first advert was the toaster, and apparently the toaster looks a lot like Vision's face. So and with the red light in the middle, which is supposed to be the Mind Stone. The second advert was the watch. The watch represents time stone. The third advert was the Lagos spill, or was it the soap? I can't remember. Okay, it was the soap, and the soap was in a square shape, blue square box like the Tesseract. So that would be the Space Stone. The third one was Lagos Spill. The stones really be more liquid form than solid form. So it's like the Reality Stone. And then we saw the boy dying, obviously, and that's the Soul Stone. you know, and that's what people are putting the adverts on. But out of all of these, I'll tell you what, that's still the commercials are still being theorized, because even to this moment, I don't understand how they are connected, and if they don't get answered at some particular point, I'll be really upset. I don't know about you guys. Would you want some sort of resolution to these commercials? Boss, I'll start with you, Bob.
I don't I really don't care. Like I think they're like I don't care if there's any like big resolution with them. I think they're some of them are funny. I think some of them are whatever. I really feel like a lot of them are just going through like things that has happened to Wanda, and you know, and things that revolve around Wanda, and that's what these commercials are for. But I really don't think that there needs to be some kind of big resolution with this. So I don't know. I'll pass it on to you, boss man.
I think I think there may be hints to something bigger, but again, there might be what Agnes has put in to say, "I'm in charge. I'm the one messing with you, and I'm bringing all these things in just to mess with you." It could be that, and that's generally what I think. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Well, Agnes is babysitting the kids, and Billy. And by the way, Billy felt like he just grew like a year or two in this episode from the last one, but. Nevertheless, Billy says Agnes is quiet on the inside, and Agnes gets a little bit spooked, but she tries to keep the kids sweet by saying encouraging things about their mother, and then we cut back to Monica, and she's ready to hit the hex, and she's suited up like an astronaut, and she jumps into the moon buggy, and she hits that hex full on. And she can't get into it for some reason. It's not swallowing her up, it's denying her entry, and she tries to go up it and stuff like that. It's not happening, and then she gets halfway through, but you can see the vehicle's changing, and she jumps out, and then the hex spits out the fucking vehicle, and it's half a van from the 80s or 90s or early 2000s or whatever. What do you think of all of that? That was fucking crazy, no? Just that scene before she enters. I'll start with you, boss man.
It was great stuff, as I said. I also like the fact that well, what I got was like 2010s, because like people like speaking straight to the camera and going, "This is my feelings." It's like that's definitely 2010 stuff. It was like, you know, it was like real life, that sort of stuff. You know, I don't know. Maybe probably remembers these like American sort of shows where they would speak straight to camera about their feelings about stuff.
Before I hand it on to Bob, I just want to quickly say that I'm surprised they didn't use technology, which is only a few years old, that would work into going into the hex at that period. You know, like they only had to go back maybe 10 years, the technology, and find something similar to get in there. They didn't need to go that far back.
Well, I think the thing is that the reason you use that is because they weren't quite sure how powerful the barrier had gotten that far. Because when they drove in, it's like literally like she was flooring it, and even though she was flooring it, probably this like £1 million, as you were saying before, space buggy, it wasn't even making a dent. It was literally like.
They said that this thing had some sort of cover over it that would not calibrate with Monica's vision of shit, and it would be able to pass through. But apparently, it ended up being the same, and it wasn't able to pass through. Bob, and you got anything to say about that scene before I go on about Monica jumping in the bubble?
It was cool, but as I said, without Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck, it was just a lost cause. They needed a drill on it. That's what they needed.
Well, Monica, after jumping out, she's like, you know what, I'm fucking going through this thing.
I know, like the way like her look, and then Jimmy Woo, the Agent Woo's like look, he's like, don't do it, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna do it.
Don't leave me alone.
Yeah, as I said, when she goes, she looks back and she goes, I'm going in, and she just bolts for it. I was just like, yes.
Yeah, I love the transitions as she was going in. It was amazing.
But yeah, because you sort of like seeing her like from the '60s and like the different versions of her. She's like, nah, and all the versions come into one, and like she gets the blue eyes. She's like, this time's like, oh shit, she got powers now.
And I want to quickly add that this is my theory on why she hasn't been brainwashed again and all of that sort of shit. Is that first of all, she's knowingly going in there, and she's already been in there a couple of times. And so she's like more immune to the transformations from going in there. Like, sorry, when I say going in there a couple of times, I mean by entering the first time and exiting as well. Like it's transformed her enough for her to garner an immunity, which is why her DNA's changed so much. And seeing her go through like that and her eyes turn blue like that was just amazing. I was getting goosebumps. I know very little of Proton, Spectrum, also Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, but seeing that transformation gave me goosebumps. And then I also realized, I'm not sure if you realized as well, Bossman, that when she exited the bubble on the inside, she her outfit kind of looked like the Captain Proton outfit from the comics. Did you notice that?
Yeah, because the grey one, she just like takes it off, she just goes and starts running really fast. So it's like awesome.
Exactly. And I'm not. Do you think she was aware that she had powers or at all?
No, because the fact she's like blinks a couple of times, she's like, "What the hell's going on?" Because like she sees like
it's like Matrix, wasn't it?
Well, it's not like as I said, the Matrix. That's
the only way.
As I said,
it's the only comparison I can think of.
Yeah, and she starts seeing like the real, to like see like the red bits and stuff like that, and then he started going away, and she like blinks, she just goes. He is a lot like the Neo of the Matrix, where he starts moving a lot faster than everyone else.
So she's now heading towards what's her face? Bob, you're back now. You got anything to say about that? Basically the origin of Proton, Spectrum. It was pretty cool.
I mean, I would be interested. I can't remember if Photon is a mutant in the comic books or not, but it would be interesting to see the route that they're going with this.
She's been mutated. We can say that.
Yeah, well, she's being mutated, so she's more of a mutate. Like Deadpool, because Deadpool's not a mutant; he's a mutate.
Yeah, mutants are natural. Mutated is not.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see the route they are going with all of this. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, it was really cool. I kind of figured when I saw her heading back, whenever she went back in there, I kind of figured this is where they were going. They were going to give her powers that way,
This was not the best Vision episode, by the way, and considering we had the Office theme, it was a shame that we weren't in Vision's fucking office on this episode doing that theme.
I thought about that.
But that was one of the things. But we're back with Darcy and Vision now, and she's filling in Vision's life, and they're constantly being hindered by red lights, roadworks, children crossing. And this is the funny thing, because we saw Vision exit in two ways. We saw Vision exiting the fourth wall way by talking to the camera, and then we saw Vision exiting by flying through the roof.
I was wondering how that worked. Like, even
like, what's going on there?
Is there two Visions at that point? And then
how do you explain that? All the times they're talking to the cameras and stuff, like, how do you explain that in this reality overall? I just don't get what I'm watching here. But don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on it. I'm just wondering what the fuck is going on. But Bossman, does that make you wonder? Like, he's exiting two ways. He's flying through the car and he's leaving the fucking monologue. Like, what the hell?
Well, it reminded me of two things. It reminded me of the Truman Show, where every little thing, like, they have like the red light, and then we'll see the red light. What was it that comes like the roadworks come? As soon as the roadworks goes,
that was Truman Show. But we also thought at the time, with that moment, that it was Wanda doing it, trying to stop Vision from coming back because she's pissed off with Vision right now. They're going through a stereotypical little tuffle couples go through all the time. But it wasn't. Obviously we find out later on. It was definitely Agatha doing that. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I thought that exactly. You're talking about all the distractions and stuff.
Yeah, that was definitely Agatha.
I feel like that was Agatha.
Yeah, what do you think, Bossman?
I definitely agree. And I said, when he finally looks at me, he goes, right, I'm going to go. And she goes, finally we're here. And I was just like, oh, poor Darcy.
Yeah, Darcy's going to have to... I think Darcy Darcy and Vision might save them. I mean, I don't know in what way Agatha can control Vision, and Darcy will be no problem for Agatha to control.
Well, because like, from what she was saying, they found a way of bringing Vision back, but like Wanda took him at like the last moment or something like that.
No, they've reanimated his corpse, but he's not Vision. He's not Jarvis Vision. He's like a new person, but happens to have Vision's qualities because he doesn't remember his previous life because he's brand new. You know what I mean?
I mean, do we think though that Vision is walking out of here a new person, like a new person, or do we think he's just like by the end of this he's going to be dead Vision again, like
I don't want
hole in
this.
the forehead and just
It's a funny
Well,
thing.
I think what might happen, and again, this is just my speculation. And this kills him, but simultaneously, like he has like plays enough tricks on Wanda's mind that she does it again, and then she just loses it, and he does what you two speculated for a while, which is she becomes villain for Phase 5 or 4, whatever it is. That's what I think is going to happen, personally.
I mean, I'm not so. I mean, I wanted that to happen, but now with Agatha Harkness, the way she was all along and stuff. I'm not sure how much of a villain Wanda's going to be now. Was she manipulated by Agatha? You know, is this really what she wants, or was Agatha making her pretend that she wanted this? You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting, the mindfuck we're going to get out of this. But let's continue now. Monica arrives at Wanda's house, and Wanda just sees and goes, "What the fuck?" and just blasts her out. I love it, man. I just love it. Like no time for discussion. Just blasts her out there, and she throws Monica into the sky and then throws her down to the ground. And Monica uses her powers, you know, just as instinct to stop her from getting any damage, and she has another superhero landing. And Monica, I'm not sure, realized what the hell's going on, but Wanda definitely noticed that Monica is more than what she seems to be, which was pretty cool. Agnes comes in and takes Wanda away to her place. Anytime you want to intervene, by the way, with what I've just spoke about, please do. Agnes comes in and takes Wanda to her place, and then Wanda starts seeing half-eaten sandwiches. She sees a kid's cartoon, a bunny rabbit, and a weird fly on the wall. Intervene, guys. What the fuck is that fly?
a cicada.
Cicada?
Yeah. Which is, I think he's like related to a villain from the Marvel Universe, from what I understand.
All I know, is that unlike the fucking, the aerospace engineer, this fly has significance. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. What about you two?
No, we're still waiting on that aerospace engineer, aren't we?
No, we got answered today. It was the woman who gave her the moon moon buggy. That was the aerospace engineer.
I thought it was a him.
It was a nobody. I thought it was. She said a guy, but I think she was saying it asexually. You know what I mean? I know a guy. So anyway, so that's been answered, and it was a nothing. But that fly for me is very significant because it looked like a weird fucking fly, like no fly I've ever seen. So okay, we could keep going from there. So she asks where her kids are at, and Agnes says, yeah, they're downstairs in the basement. So Wanda goes downstairs, and this basement's big, man, and it's like caverns and stuff like that. It's starting to look a bit
as soon as she goes into the basement, I was like, oh shit.
And this represents hell.
It's like I don't know if you've ever seen, but like it reminded me a little bit, and I know the Silence of the Lambs a little bit, where like
Silence of the Lambs, and all these other films. There's loads of films where this shit goes on in the basement, dude. Loads of horror movies, man. And
it was like, what? She got like a load of like. See, I want more weird shit in this. This is going to be my complaint. I want to see like dead animals on like one side, and I want to see like just like weird shit. Like what?
This is Disney. This is Disney, mate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I mean, it's another magical person that has like a magical book in their clutches, because Wanda walks by and there's like this book with like the purple magic on it.
I can never say the word the Necromonicon. I can never say it properly. But yeah, that's immediately what I thought. This basement is really large, and I believe it's like it's not hell, but it's like a metaphor for hell, because she's going down, it's getting scary, it's getting evil.
I think it's more like a temple, like it's a magically made temple.
But it's definitely darkness, seediness, evil. Nothing good coming from here. And one of the things as well, before I continue, one of the things regarding children and witches, there's been a thing over the years, like witches and children, they don't necessarily go together. Witches in the past have been hate children. You've seen that the Ronald Dahl book and the film The Witches, for instance. There's been Hansel and Gretel, Gingerbread House, how the witch wants to eat the kids and stuff like that. There's always been issues between witches and children, and I feel this is playing out in that sense. We don't see the kids for the rest of this episode, but as Wanda's wondering what the fuck's going on, Agatha Harkness finally introduces herself, and
I've got to say, this was awesome.
This was awesome, but right to the end, because she the whole thing, like, reveal was great. I laughed my arse off when she mentioned that she was the one who killed Sparky. It was hilarious, and anybody who didn't has no sense of humor at all. You can laugh when people get killed, but somebody killing an animal and in the taste of a bad taste joke. If a bad taste joke is done well, it can be extremely funny, and that was a bad taste joke done very well, and I laughed my arse off. I don't know about you guys.
Is it? Oh, so you go first.
I'm after I say my final piece here. Now that we finish it, I got a dip, but and I want you guys to continue. You guys are doing great.
We will.
But I agree. The ending was great. I love the whole song at the end. It's like, it was Agnes, and you're going through like the whole thing, and it's kind of like episode 3 where it was like, you kind of go through all the episodes again, and I mean, it showed her like whatever little outfit she was wearing. It didn't like show it, but it showed enough of it that we could see it was transforming into her clothes. It just makes me wonder if like Agatha's like working for some kind of, nightmare Dormammu something, or if it's just like she's just her own agent of chaos.
Well,
and
Pietro's working for her for sure.
Huh?
Pietro's working for her. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, but I meant like if there's somebody above her. But yeah, no, Pietro's probably working. But it makes me wonder, and this is one of the things that I did want to bring up when we got to the post-credits scene that I just saw right before, because Zam let me know. I lose points on my Marvel card because I did not look for a post-credits scene. But the thing is that, okay, so since it's magic and multiverse and all that stuff, did Agatha pull Pietro out of the multiverse and put him here under her control, or is this like just another shenanigan of magic?
That Pietro wouldn't stoop to those levels.
No, but he may be under control of Agatha.
That's fine. If that's the case, then that's a whole different ball game. But then he's just as innocent as Wanda in that case.
That's what I'm saying. So if he is technically innocent, then because what you saw in the thing where he was standing at the door and she was flicking her wrist, like, and it looked like she had some kind of that purple control on her or on him. So I mean, maybe she did pull him from the Fox universe, and then because she couldn't pull him from obviously the MCU universe because he's dead. I don't know. I mean, that's just who knows?
What does she want to do? What is her point on all of this?
I'm telling you, it's the twins.
She wants those twins. Why?
Because they're going to be powerful.
But they're not real. But they're not real though. I mean,
I think they're definitely going to sci-fi that, and they're going to be real if the young Avengers rumors, which have been all over the place, are for real, because you've got Kathy Lang, you've got Kate Bishop already pretty much sewn in. So
I think they are going to be real, because I remember everything that goes out of the hex is like it stays. Now, I mean, so now the only question is it something that gets transformed in the hex? Then it transformed, like it'll stay outside, but these were like created. I don't that's going to be the variable, but I feel like with the way they're going with the Young Avengers and everything like that, I feel like that these twins are somehow, and you're right, Sam, they're going to sci-fi them into existence.
Yeah.
So I've got to go. You guys keep going.
Take care, Bob. See you later, mate.
And great episode. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I mean, I know we didn't, but. All right, I'll see you guys later.
No problem. So did you see the post-credit scene, Bossman?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So we got a little bit more of Monica. Did you notice that even though, when she bumped into Pietro, Pietro says Snoop has got a Snoop, and that was like all we saw of him, of that. But did you notice her eyes turned purple, not blue?
Yeah.
So they turned into the Agnes colours, not the Monica colours.
Well, I know this is going to be a bit of a stretch, but do you know? I know you might have not seen this, but in the first Jessica Jones, there's a character that used purple as mind control. It could be something to do with that.
But that dude wasn't magic.
Died.
He wasn't, but he wasn't magic. It was to do with it was an experiment. You know, like Agnes. I say Agatha. I got to stop. The names are so similar as well. Agatha is she was going on about magic, you know, and magic users and stuff like that, and
yeah. So it would be that maybe Agatha's controlled her because like she's angry against Wanda and she's used that against her. It's like I'm going to control her now. I don't know. As I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Is Vision's going to come in and save her? It's like, you know, what's going to happen, and that's what a good penultimate episode should be, because I think this is going to be the penultimate episode. The ending episode's going to be next week, because now we know that Agatha has been the person who's been like pushing Wanda to be like, you know,
I think
this person that she's.
I think we're going to get like a Doctor Strange style of episode, like a Mysterio style of episode of mindfuck and what's real and what's not, and it could be a battle of the wits. I do feel that we might need a little bit of origin of Agatha Harkness, you know, just to humanize her a little bit more in how this magical person's come to being. And if she is a magical person, then Stephen Strange is and Wong or Wang or whatever his name is are the people to deal with the situation now. I mean, who else?
Well, unless what's his name, the sword agent in charge.
Yeah, but we're talking about somebody who can deal with a magic user. You know, like Wanda obviously is capable, but Wanda right now has been made a fool of and been manipulated. And right now they need somebody who's a wiser, experienced head, like Stephen Strange, you know. So and he knows magic. He might even know who Agatha Harkness is, you know. And you know, by reading up about her and stuff like that, we will need some origin for Agatha. I mean, like, even though
you keep on doing that, it's quite funny. Sorry, but yeah, as I said, I do think that like, when we see like stuff she's done, like when she touched the neighbor's shoulder, when she was like, you see like different things she was doing, and the growth's very subtle. You like things. Yeah, I remember that bit. Yeah, I remember that bit. Yeah, I remember that bit. And it's stuff that you didn't really like, sort of like clock on that she was doing at the time, but like she did.
What do you think happened to the kids? Because we have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that maybe she absorbed their energy to some degree, but I don't know.
I think I don't think they're dead. That's for sure. I think they're still alive. I just can't see Disney killing off those kids for the Young Avengers coming up. It makes no sense. I mean, they went dark and they went bad taste with the dog joke, killing the dog joke and stuff like that. So I think killing the kids, it makes no sense. You know, I just can't see her have done that. But I can, if they look, if they end up doing what I think they will not ever do, then hats off to Disney. You know, kill the fucking kids in this film, in this show. I can never see them do that. But if they do that, hats off to them. I mean, they did an animated thing last week with the kid dying on the island, for fuck's sake. So anything's possible, I guess. But I just feel those kids are alive, but I don't know to what capacity. I'll tell you this. I think they're gonna age up. You know, you've seen them age up, haven't you? Yeah, Bossman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the kids are gonna age up, and they're gonna be old enough to fight Agatha, and Wiccan's gonna be Billy. That is, he's gonna turn into a badass. What do you think?
Could be a good idea. As I said, I mean, it'd be quite tragic if like maybe the Vision gets killed for a third time, and like literally we see like
Yeah.
Wanda soul get ripped out, and she basically freaks out, and then you see her become the villain of Phase 4. And she was pushed there by Agatha, and she kills Agatha, and she's like, I'm literally going to kill everything until, I don't feel the pain anymore. And it's like, because then we could understand, because, like, she's literally been pushed into this, like, this mindset of mania by this horrible person. And she basically, when Ramboa talks to her, and she says, you become a villain, and she says, maybe that's what I always was, or that's what I always wanted to be. I was like, oh, I think that's a really good point. And I was like, and then when she said that, like, that's when Agnes stays her off. It's like, I've got her now, and now I know that I can use her to my whims. And I was like, when Vision comes in, I reckon that's going to be the next push. She needs to be the next, as you were saying, the next villain of the MC universe.
That's when you think about it, Bossman, that's one of the great things about a lot of comic book characters, Marvel and DC, is that some of the most fascinating ones are the grey area characters, and Wanda is definitely grey.
Well, that's why the film that's interesting the most is Black Adam. I know people don't like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, whatever.
No problem with The Rock playing him.
I don't either. I mean, because he's supposed to be Egyptian, and The Rock is like Samoan and black, so he looks more or less that he's that ethnicity.
He can pass for it, people.
And plus, he has a very he's a very charismatic person, so like he has this sort of charisma to do that.
He played the Scorpion King, so he's done something like this before, so it's fine.
Yeah, as I said, but the thing is with Black Adam, he's not an evil character. Don't get me wrong, but he's a very great character.
I like bad guy Black Adam more than I like grey area Black Adam. I'm not a fan of that.
Actually, I am as well, because the thing is with Black Adam, he's such a badass that like 52, which is one of my favorite comic series, he literally cuts off somebody's arm because he's literally there. For no other reason, he's literally there. He's literally like, you fucked over my wife, you fucked over my son, I'm going to kick your ass. He's like, and cuts off his arm. He's just like, this guy had nothing to do with it. He was like just random flunky. He's just like, that is what I want.
Yeah, exactly. So, but regarding Wanda though, like, depending on where you see her, like, depending on what comic book illustration you've seen or whatever, she's been good, she's been bad, she's been neutral on many things, and I think you've already seen her side with the bad guys with Hydra, you've seen her side with the good guys with Avengers. She's been unhappy every time. She's lost everyone in her life, She's doing it for herself.
But here's an idea, as a total
theory.
Could like Magneto come in and basically control everything better? Because considering he's supposed to be
but you're gonna have to introduce him somehow, make it plausible.
Well, have like Fassbender come in, because Fassbender is a great actor. Just have him come in and just
but Magneto, like, how does Magneto, like, I know, don't get me wrong. If Magneto came out of nowhere and then saves her or whatever, fine. But eventually, you're gonna have to explain that. Eventually, in other shows or something, in some way, in a film, another television series, or whatever, that has to be explained.
What's that?
Okay, so Bossman has just had to quickly step away for a second. So I'm going to continue with talking about WandaVision. We're down to the last 2 episodes now, and I felt the end game was beginning with the end of the last episode, but I do feel we're more in end game period in this particular episode. The reveal of Agatha Harkness might have come a little bit earlier, in my opinion, but at least we got her.
So,
I just going back to WandaVision here. You know what really worries me is that I don't want them to eventually kill Agatha Harkness. I don't want her to die, please. Catherine Hahn is so amazing in this show. The acting by everyone is fantastic, by the way. But I love Catherine Hahn, and I don't want them to kill her character off. What about you?
No, well, as I said, that's been my biggest pet peeve with Marvel as a franchise, as a thing, is that they always kill their villain off. Mm-hmm. It's like, Because I mean, see what you want about DC and their films. For the most part, they keep their villains alive. You know, the villain out of Aquaman alive. Both of the villains actually alive. The villain out of
in the Wonder Woman films as well, but that film, Wonder Woman 2, but that was a shit movie.
Again, it wasn't as good as the first one. I agree.
And the recent Batman, I mean, the Batman Returns, Catwoman lived, Riddler lived, and fucking Thingy lived in the fourth one. But those latter films, they were shit.
Well, I'm talking about the current universe. So I'm talking like, you know, Lex Luthor, he's alive. Who else is alive?
Heath Ledger's Joker lived in
exactly.
Chris Nolan, and the Scarecrow. Scarecrow lived as well.
Yeah, he lives in all three movies.
Yeah,
that's
in all
great,
three movies. Yeah,
because I mean, plus the thing is, what's great about that, he has 3 different roles in 3 different movies. He was the judge in the third one. He was basically the drug dealer in the second one, and he was basically the
psychiatrist in the first one.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. That's what you do when you don't kill it off. You can have the bad guy be a different kind of bad guy in different roles, and that was what I think was used about those roles.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
what happened? Did Bane die? Because I feel that's still up in the air.
He got shot by.
Yeah, but Bane's superhuman, man. You know what I mean? Well, I'm not sure about Tom Hardy's Bane, but he's supposed to be. It's a shame there was no Venom, like him shooting Venom up with a needle or something in that film and stuff like that. But
yeah, as I said, I like that film more than everyone else. Let's put it that way.
I know I don't mind Dark Knight Rises actually. I've always thought Dark Knight was overrated personally, but a lot of people like that film.
Well, I think Dark Knight Rises is the best Batman film, but as I said, but Batman Begins is a great film. Don't get me wrong, but I do think Dark Knight Rises is criminally underrated by a lot of people.
Fair enough. Well, Bossman, I've got not much more to say on Wandavision. How about yourself?
What do you think is going to happen for the last episode? Let's break it like
last 2 episodes. I do think.
No, I think this is going to be like this is the last.
No, there's 2 more. There's two episodes.
Yeah,
there's two episodes left. I'll say this. I feel we'll need. I feel like we need an episode explaining why all of this is happening. You know, because so far we're trying to make sense of what's happening inside, but the overall arcing question of why is not being explained.
Sure, sir.
No problem.
I think what's going to happen is that we're going to find out that either this was part of the code, or what happened was that like maybe like during Endgame, her dad or something got clicked out, and when he got clicked back in, he didn't come back. Like maybe he had a heart attack, and that's where it's what she's like going. I'm going to get even with one of these motherfuckers if he kills me.
Okay. Well, you think that's going to happen in the last episode?
Well, I think the next episode, I think.
Okay. I mean, do you think Vision's going to leave the bubble? You think he's going to come out alive in this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the thing is that what was keeping it alive normally was the is the yellow one the Mind Stone? I can't remember what the
Mind Stone was in his head, yeah, and the Mind Stone crit gave Wanda her powers as well.
Yeah, so the Mind Stone. I think what's going to happen is that the Mind Stone. Maybe we find out that like she's had it all along, with that she's made herself see all these things. Maybe. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for sure the kids are going to come out alive in this. I can't be 100%, but like I said, with all the seeds being sown for young Avengers and Disney, are never going to try to lose out on trying to make a series and films kids related. I just feel the kids are going to be coming out of this alive, and if they can come out alive, so can Vision. But like I said, it's science fiction, and they can either they can or they can't. It's up to the writers. So but regarding the final episode, I do feel we're going to see Stephen Strange. I do think Stephen Strange will be in this show. in some capacity, because we all know that Wanda's going to be in Doctor Strange too, and I do feel one's going to lead to the other. I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind seeing some. Right now, we need Avengers. The fact there's no Avengers right now is ridiculous. The Hex has just expanded to unbelievable proportions, and
it makes sense because what's the name of the leader of the main guy? What's his name?
Oh, Nick Fury.
No, the other guy.
Oh, Hayward. Yeah.
He's such an egotist that I can. So that he says, I don't need any Avengers.
Yeah, but this information is not going to be just kept with, like, this will get leaked back to Nick Fury. It's not like Nick Fury's never going to know about this. He'll know about this, you know, like, I just feel that it's impossible for him not to know about it, and what Wanda's been doing would be noticed by more than just S.H.I.E.L.D., you know. It's just, I just feel that we should have seen some Avengers in this episode dealing with the situation for whatever reason. Because
I think what's going to happen now is maybe like Ramboa becomes Proton.
But even when she does become Proton, she's not an Avenger yet. But I'm saying, it's like Scarlet Witch, Wanda is an Avenger. She's an actual Avenger, a proper, breathing, living Avenger. So the fact that one of these Avengers has gone rogue to the degree by reanimating one of the dead Avengers and creating a false reality, you would think her teammates will want to know what the fuck is going on. You know, by now, with what's happening, you would think they'll be there, some of them. But the fact that there's no Avengers there is shocking. You know, what's his name should be there. Hawkeye, Clint Barton should be there. He's got a very good relationship with Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And even Captain America, you know, retired Captain America, he would be there in a heartbeat. You know.
But he's like in what 80s?
Yeah, he's over 100 actually. But the point is that because he's got that super serum in him, he probably acts like he's like in his 70s, which he's still in good shape, but he knows Wanda. We're not asking him to go in there and kick ass. Just speak to her, you know. Try to get through to her head. And I'm just surprised they haven't used those avenues yet, because you would think there'll be the smart avenue that an Avenger has gone rogue. You have to call in the other Avengers to stop this. It just makes sense, surely. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic on this. Anyway, Bossman, I think we're done here, mate.
Well, hopefully, as I said, next episode will be as. I thought this was really a good episode. I thought this. I agree with Cousin Cheeto. This is like an 8 and a 9.
And this episode got better because of the end. I felt maybe it was a 7 and it became like an 8 because of the end. The end made it a little bit better, and that's a generous 8 I'm giving it, because that end really made a massive smile on my face. It was a good episode to some degrees. We got Proton origin as well, I guess. So. But there were some moments that just felt a little bit fillerish. I wasn't the only one who felt like this. Felt like the most filler episode of all the episodes, and luckily some of those things that happened in this episode made it palatable, like Captain Proton and the Agatha Harkness reveal. So yeah. Anyway, mate, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much for joining us for this. We'll catch you guys later for the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.